Well, good afternoon. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, I didn't do a whole lot. I did a little sewing, little gardening. Not much gardening because it rained most of the weekend. We got actually a couple inches of rain over the weekend, which is a lot for us in 2 days, especially this time of year. So I did get the binding down on my Geese Around the Crazy Heart. Um, I got that done over the weekend. I got a little bit of embellishment on the uh, patriotic one. When I'm finished with that, I will be sharing it with you. But this week, our projects are going to be Hexies. And oh my goodness, do we have a lot of projects. First thing, I made the little bowl, and I believe these are from the 3/4 inch Hexies. Um, Not positive, I can't remember if it's the 3/4 or the 1 inch. But later this week, I will be showing you how to do these. But I just think it came out so cute. Um, I have a lot of things I'm not going to show you today, but a lot of things I'm going to. Years ago, when I was first playing around with the Hexies, I made this little tote bag, and it started with one of these. I don't know what you call this. It's sort of a fabric, but I know if you put your iron to it, it will melt. So what I did was I deconstructed it, which was really pretty easy. It's just the binding on here, huge stitches. If you get it just right, it pulls out. So then you end up with this piece that goes all the way around, and your front and your back and your handles. And I kept my handles because I just covered them. I wanted a little extra body to them. And I basically covered the three parts to the bag and made a lining. So this is one side with Hexies and just rows, all the same color. This is from a jelly roll that I had laying around. And the other side I did the traditional flowers with, the 6 around the center. And then the side and bottom, I just did stripes. No big deal. Real easy. Then I did line it. You can see in there. I did line it, and I put some pockets in it. Put pockets. I put a pen holder in it, and small one for credit cards or whatever. Oh, we still have a pin in it. And just basically made 2 bags, covered all the parts from the original, sewed them, and then made new binding to go around it. It was real simple. I've made several of these. I made one with a filler piece up here and a zipper in it, so it was a little more secure. I've made them with just the snaps, but they're nice tote bag. I actually made one with Insulbright, I guess is, and put 2 layers of batting in the Insulbright in the middle, and did the top with a zipper and made it for a cold bag for grocery shopping, and it has been hauled everywhere with us. So that's just one little project or idea. I wanted to show you small projects, so you might want to give them a try and not commit yourself to a huge project. This is my medium-sized table topper, and all of these circles are Hexies that I fussy cut for the background. And then from my stash, I did pull fabrics that I thought went with I started with the main. This was a piece of yardage, and like I say, I fussy cut all the Hexies. So this whole background is Hexies. And I fussy cut them and did, like I say, did my flowers, used some of the fussy cut for the centers. And this was a real fun project, and it went pretty fast. These are 1-inch Hexies. These are pretty much your standard size, or the most popular used size. I do have a pattern on the website for this one. This is the medium tabletopper. There's one that's a little smaller, and all of our Hexie packages come with a design sheet, just the Hexies printed out. So if you want to do your own design, you can copy it and play with it, and come up with your own ideas. Now, I have been working on this one for a long time. I have more blocks than this made, but this was from, I want to say this was from a jelly roll. I actually used 2 sets here that I can no longer get, but the fabrics are gorgeous. They all have a bit of gold metallic in the designs, and I have decided, when I talked about doing Hexies this week, I decided that this one needs to be finished. And for the reason it hasn't been done, I wasn't sure how I wanted to join them. And finally decided. I have had several bolts of this black with gold fabric. Let me move the light out of the way. I don't know if you can see that. But I finally decided that that went well. I had tried, you can see here, I tried it with a cream color with a metallic gold, and I just wasn't sure I liked that one as well. If you know me, you know I tend to go towards black. I just think it sets the blocks off better. When I do it with a light like this, it seems like your eye is drawn to the light, and you don't notice these gorgeous fabrics quite as well. So I have started, I'll show that to you next week. Oh, it's on the design wall. So what I show you here is, this is one way that you can get, these are your 1-inch Hexies. They come in a big long roll. They're all there. And these are done in rows. These are ideal for if you're using jelly rolls. You can just cut a whole row out and put on the back side of your jelly roll. And that is our package of 180 1-inch Hexies. They come like that in strips. And the bulk package, when we say bulk, what it is, I don't know if you can see that, they're all real close together. And it's great for putting on yardage. I'm going to need hundreds of these black ones for going around all my big flowers. This is going to be a really large quilt. So this saves fabric, doing it this way. And what I did was I took a section of the Hexies on the foundation, and I laid out my black fabric, and I use someplace. Oh, I highly recommend this, the 505 temporary adhesive. It does go away after it's been steam pressed a couple of times, but I did this probably a month ago, and it's still adhering to it. So I lay the fabric out with some protection underneath so you don't get spray on everything. And I sprayed the back of the fabric, and then I just laid out the foundation. I kind of started at one, rolled it up and then started at one side and just pressed it as I went, made sure it was all nice and flat. And there we are. Now we're ready to trim these out. And let me see. I don't think these are my fabric scissors, but I'll use them anyway. So then I just cut them, start by cutting on the broken line. what I usually do is I will do this and then I'll take this up to the house, and we want to watch a movie or something. I'll sit on the couch with a trash can between my legs, and I'll just trim away, and I could get this all trimmed easily in an evening. So there's your Hexie ready to go. The solid lines printed on there are our stitching lines. So let me get this out of the way. And I do have some other projects to show you. I want to show you the one I was hoping I'd have it done for today. It is almost done. This is my journal cover. This is the outside, and I got my binding sewn on this morning. These journals, I just love these. I think they come in all different colors. The back page already has a pouch in it, so that will go on this side. My fingers would work. Push that in there. And then you got to kind of flip this up the other way and put this side in there. And I put a pouch. Hope I didn't. I think I put it on the wrong way. Yes, I did. This is the front side. I put a pouch in here, a little pocket, so you have a pocket in the front and a pocket in the back, so it just slides in like that. And you gotta kind of reverse open to get it in there. And take my marker. But there's my little journal cover, and of course it'll look a little better when the binding is sewn down. But I just thought this was made from a mini charm pack, and this is going to be my garden journal, so I can put seed packets or whatever in here, whatever. And I love it. I was thinking this morning when I was sewing the binding on, wouldn't this be nice to find a really lovely fabric and make, and you could even embellish it a little bit with some lace and ribbon or whatever, and make a Bible cover. So anyway, that's that one. And I am going to, hopefully today we'll get started. I'm making another one. This is Saddle Ranch by Moda. Another little mini charm pack. And I'm going to make another journal. I have a friend who has horses, and thought this might be a nice little thing for her. So hopefully we'll get started on that a little bit later. But what I wanted to do right now was kind of show you the basics on how to put these together. Good morning, everyone. Let's see. I know I have it here. Oh, yeah. We will do some of these, the big flower one. I've got them cut and ready to go. I've got the first round of flowers made. So let's get one more done here. 1, 2, 3. You need 6. 1, 2. Oh yeah. This was a jelly roll. You can see, and I've adhered the foundation to the back side. So, and I've got, 1, 2 cut. So I need 4 more to make the first flower. Put those away. And usually what I do is I will sit at night and cut all of these, and of course stack them by fabric. And you know what works great for these is a little, like a little fishing tackle box with the trays. Somewhere around here I have a project started, and that's how I have all my Hexies stored. I'll tell you what, we'll get started here. Now you can do these on the machine if you want, I mean by hand. What you're going to do, this is going to be my center. Let's get a prettier one. This is going to be my center block, and it has the foundation on the back. By the way, I don't know if you like this camera angle better than when I wear the camera around my neck, but we're going to try a few things. I'm even going to try a manned camera a little later in the week. So what I around that center one, we're going to have 6 of these turquoise with a little gold specks. And so what to start with, I'm going to take my dark blue one, my print one, that's going to be my center. Take a speckled one, that will be the first round of flower. Put them together, match all the edges, and it doesn't really matter which one of these seams I stitch or which one you put up, because the seams line up. And this is where I really like to use my my featherweight, because I like the foot a little bit better. But we're just going to start at one end of a line, and I've shortened my stitches up a little bit because I don't back stitch when I get to the end of the line. If you go a little too far, you'll get a little pucker when you sew the next one on, and you want to be able to pick that stitch, so I don't back stitch. So here, I don't know if you can see it, I have stitched on the line, and we'll open that up, and there's our first 2 pieces. So now I'm going to take another one of my flower pieces, and I'm going to match it to the one I just sewed on. It really doesn't matter which one. I like to work from right to left. So you're just going to put them together, right sides facing each other. Put a clip over here, because I'm going to sew on this line right here. This is my centerpiece. I pull that seam allowance away. You don't want to stitch your seam allowance down. And I'm going to stitch on the line from one end to the other. Well, let's see. Make sure those edges are even. Okay, so there I have these 2 sewn together. And yes, the dreaded Y seam, but this is so simple. Just flip them like that, open them up, and take the one you're adding and just swirl it around to meet the edges of your center one. Like that. Here's your centerpiece. Here's the one you're adding, and you want to just take this, the one that's already on there, kind of folds like that, and move all of your seam allowance, pull it away from where you're going to stitch, and then we're just going to put it down and put your needle in right at the end of the line and stitch across. Open that up and look at that. It's perfect Y seam. See if I can get the light on it a little better. It's perfect Y seam. And then we're going to do the same thing with our next one. Put right sides together and just make sure those edges are even. And pull you don't want to catch that seam allowance underneath. Usually what I do is I'll turn it over so I can make sure that my seam allowance here is not going to get caught up in the stitching. This is easy. Okay, so there I have the 3 sewn together. This is the one I'm adding, this one right here. So we're just gonna pivot it around. And make those edges match. Pull all your seam allowance away so you don't get it caught. This is why I like my vintage machine a little bit better. I'm not always sure where my needle's going to start, but that's pretty good. And there we have the next one. So let me add the next one, do the same thing. Now, if you were doing these by hand, instead of the whip stitch like you do in English paper piecing, you just do a running stitch from one end to the other, just like what I'm doing on the machine, but you can do it by hand. And I have been known, I used to always have a bag of Hexies for a project in my purse. And if I had to wait at the doctor's office for Bob or something, I would hand stitch them. And you can do the hand stitched ones with machine stitched, and you won't know which is which. So it's like an any place project. I hate doing that. I have a hard time only getting one stitch on this machine when I push the pedal. And then we're going to just pivot that, match that, match that. Oh, there we go. Make sure I'm not getting anything caught up in that seam. And there we go. Someplace around here, I brought home a project I've been working on that are 1.5" Hexies. They're a lot easier to work with. So there we have 4 so far. Let me cut out 2 more. So I want to show you how we press these. So there's no bulk at all. I'll find my bigger project and share that with you on Thursday. I still haven't unloaded absolutely everything out of the truck from our last show. I did not want to bring it into the shop unless I could put it away. And I've been working at it every day, getting stuff put away where it belongs so I can find it. I mentioned, I don't know if you got the blog or not, I sent out last night. I mentioned I kind of have a schedule for the next few weeks of what we're going to be doing this week. it's the Hexies. And next week I wanted to do a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but I am feeling very guilty about my stash, and really would like to make a dent in it anyway. So I kind of thought I would share how I have organized my stash, give you some ideas, make it easier. If you want to do a project, makes it much easier to find everything. Turn that and pull that out. You'll get you if you give this a try, you will get used to it. It'll be so much fun. Can you imagine doing this all by basting them all by hand? And it would take forever, and I guess that's why I never finished any projects. Okay, now our last one. This one you're going to have to pivot it twice. Flip that over. Match my seam. Make sure my edges are even. There we go. Oops. And on this, just like everything else, I'm so gotta cut my threads. Don't like my threads hanging all over. Okay, this one, there we go. We turned it the once. Make sure you can feel that the end of that line is right at the seam line from the previous one that was sewn. I'd have to, and that's another reason I like to use my featherweight on these, is I have more control of the pedal. Oh no, that worked good. Now the second pivot to get that third side done. Match those edges. And there we open it up, and we've got our whole flower done already. So now when I press it, I hope you guys can see right here. Oops. I'm all excited. I made a new ironing mat, a little bigger than what I had before. Okay, when I press this, I'm going to press the first seam whatever way I want it to go. And then I'm going to press where they come together, the three seams come together. I'm going to press them so they make like a circle. And that makes that where the three come together. See how I pressed this seam this way, this one this way, this one this way. And it made that center where the three come together, it just pops it open. So once you press your first seam, that's going to dictate which way all the rest are going to go. Let me get these done here. I got it. And just keep making circles with your So there's the back side, and there's the front side. I like to give that a little. Very nice and flat. And that's all there is to making a little flower. Now, it depends on the project you're making. When I did my journal cover, I sewed them in rows. I sewed my first row together, like across the bottom. I sewed my first row across, and then I added one at a time going across to the next row. So what I did was I laid them all out the way I wanted them to go, and then I stacked them in order, in, per row, a stack for each row, and they were in order. So then it was just a matter of putting them together. Let me show you. Now that we made a flower, we'll let's get started on our journal cover with the horse fabric. Now, if you want Hexies for mini charm packs, we have a package. There's a couple of these in there, but it's done on a grid. I don't know how I can show you this. It's done on a grid, more or less. So on this one, where's my, I'm going to put some paper down here. I'm going to spray the foundation with that adhesive. Move it over so I can get the last. And then all you have to do is open up your charm pack, and you don't even have to sort them. I just start and set them within the square like that. Just, and for the journal, I have to count up and figure. I know I added a couple within. I wanted it to wrap around, so I added a few, and then I added a top row and a bottom row of my main color. So we're just gonna do these, and there's no order here because you don't worry about that till after you cut these all out. I'm just gonna do the whole thing. I think there's 42 squares. And you might get just a tiny point of the broken line underneath, which is just fine. And I was corrected. This is not English paper piecing, although the method is not the same, but the outcome is. We just call these our Hexies, not English paper piecing. You could do it in a very similar manner, just use these. It's just that you're going to leave these in. When you do English paper piecing, first of all, you couldn't use mini charm packs because they're not big enough to wrap around the template good enough. And I mean, you could use them for a smaller, for a 3/4 maybe, or a 1/2 inch. And yes, we have 1/2 inch Hexies. We have 1/2, 3/4, 1 inch, 1.5, 2, 2.5, and 3 inch. I think 3 inch is the largest we go. And then I have a couple of companion fabrics to go with this. And I have 2 bolts of, it looks like tooled leather, but it's not. And I thought that would be beautiful with this. I have the boot coordinated fabric of boots that I'm going to use for the inside of the journal cover. And I thought I'd use the tooled leather on the outside for my top and bottom row. And for my, I think for the binding, I'm going to use the blue bandana fabric that I have to go with this. Get that thread off of there. And this is the boot fabric. I have the coordinated boot fabric. Have a thread that doesn't want to leave me. I have a couple more mini charm packs that Moda sent me, promotional stuff, and I will be making another one. It's a different floral, very different from what the one I just did today or yesterday. And I just love making these now that I got all the numbers and all that figured out. And I will share that. I don't think I'm going to make it a pattern. I think I'm just going to post the dimensions or how to figure your dimensions. Because if you want to do a book cover for something that's different size than these journals, it'd be nice if you could just do a couple measurements and make it to fit. And then I'll just post that on the website and tell you if, and then if you need, we'll let you know if you're going to make it out of a mini charm pack, if one package is enough or whatever. So there, I have it all covered. Peel it off of my, whoops, that wasn't very smart. I guess I'll leave it on the protective paper and cut them apart. That doesn't feel very sticky. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. I might just cut this whole, keep them. And then we'll cut across. I don't know why this isn't sticking as well as normal. Pull this off. I don't know if I shook the can. Okay, so there's that one, and then we'll just cut around the outside edges on all of these. And then I have I will take the bulk um, foundation and do my coordinated fabric, and I'll go ahead and I'll get them all done and trimmed out and ready to go, and we will put that together on Thursday. Now, another little idea. Where did I put my little bowl? I've made a couple of the bowls. This is, I'm using it already. This is the first one I made. I think I might have shown it last week. And I've just been using it next to my sewing machine to just collect all kinds of stuff. And where? I'm sure, oh, it's right here under this little bowl. I did most of this one on the machine. And I wasn't sure if I was going to do the lid or not. And you can shape it like this, or you can shape it out flatter like the other one I did. So for this one, this is a new thing we've come out with, and I will be putting the pattern on the website in the next day or two. I will have it done before Saturday. What you do is it comes with, this is for 1.5 inch Hexies. You see this broken line here is 1.5 inches long. That's how they size these. It comes with that, this is called the 1.5 inch Hexie bowl backing. And it also comes with a set of 1.5 inch Hexie. This is a foundation. The fabric's already adhered to the foundation. But you get 8 of these, and you get 8 of these. And there's 3 different sizes in the package. So what you do is you take the center part. There's just one line. It's a solid line. Adhere it to your fabric. I fussy cut all of these, so I had a flower in the center. Really easy to do because you can see through the foundation. So just place it wherever you want on your fabric. And then I also took this and I cut a piece of batting, same size. Those are together. So then you take your backing and you put it on the fabric of your choice for the reverse side. This one, it's the blue in the inside. That's the back side. And there's the dotted line in the middle that shows you where to line this up. And you can glue it if you want. I just put a pin in it, to hold it in place. Okay, and now what you're going to do is you're just going to take the backing, you cut it out on the line, you've cut your fabric on the line all the way around. You're going to fold it in so that the edge is even with the edge of the Hexie in the middle. And I press that. Just like that. Then you're going to fold it one more time over the top, and the fold will be right at the edge of your batting and your inside fabric. And put a clip in it. Then you're going to turn it for the next edge. You're just going to go around the outside edge. You're going to fold the next one in. So that edge of the backing fabric is at the edge of the center fabric and batting. Press that, fold that in, and your corners should meet right there. They should meet. You want to keep that center fabric flat. Put another pin in or clip on it. Turn it to the next side. Fold that backing down. Fold it again. Make sure your corners, your miters meet nice and even. And then we're going to do the next side. The reason we give you 8 of these is if you want to put a lid on it, it takes the 8th one. And you can put a lid on it and stitch it down just on one side to make it like a hinge. And at this point I take my pin out. Make sure it's all nice and flat. Fold that in. Fold it again. And then the last one, to keep our miters all going in the same direction, the last one we're going to take the clip off here, open that up, and fold that in, keep that angle. Fold this one in just like we did all the rest. You've got your miter meeting right there at the corner. Put a clip on it, and then this one is going to go like that so that all your miter folds go the same direction. And clip it. And then I did mine on the machine. One of them, I just did a straight stitch to stitch the binding down, and you're quilting the 3 layers or 5 layers, whatever it is, as you go. This one, I did a zigzag around, and then this is my bottom piece right here. When I made the second hexie, just like I showed you here, got it all stitched down all the way around, got the binding stitched down. Then I put the 2 edges together, and I zigzagged this way. Then I did this, actually the 3rd hexie, stitched the binding down all the way around. Then I placed it here, and I zigzagged here. This one was already on, so I put my needle down here and I pivoted, or over here, and I pivoted, and then I stitched zigzag out to this end. And I did that with each one till they were all 6 on there. So they're stitched, machine stitched up to this point here. And then unfortunately, I could not figure out a way to get it into the machine to do any more on the machine. I did it by hand. I did it with the blue side out so that these were right sides together, like that. And then just like in English paper piecing, I stitched these 2. They're on the fold. You just catch both sides in a whip stitch and tie the knots real good. Make sure go through the end several times, several stitches there at the end to make it good and secure. And then you just turn it inside out and pop that corner out, and there you have it. And then I just sort of pinched it up because I like that shape better. I mean, it depends on what you're going to use it for, but this one's nice and flat, and you know, it's kind of open, so it holds. I mean, I've just been throwing needles and clips, a pair of tweezers, my bobbins, because I've been sewing different things using different colored bobbins, so I just have them here. next to my machine. So if I got this done and I wanted to put a lid on here, I would just sew it to one side over here. Do the same thing, the whip stitch here, so then you could open and close it. But I think with it pinched like this, it doesn't, it might work. But I know on the bigger one, that's cute. On the bigger one that I'm going to do on Thursday, I am going to put a lid on it because I'm thinking the little bit bigger one is going to be for my nightstand, for my jewelry. You know, at night I get in bed and I forget, oh, I got earrings on or whatever, and I lay in bed and I take them off, and right now they just get thrown on the nightstand, and sometimes they get shoved aside, and I should be take better care of those things. So I thought I'm gonna just make one that will look good in my bedroom, and that's what I will use it for. But that, I think that's I like these. They're real cute. And just the one, I just used one layer of Warm and Natural. What is it? 80, 28, 80, 20. But you could use anything. And it holds its shape very nice. So I'm anxious to see how the big ones do. So let's see, what else do we want to do today? We've got all kinds of things here. I wanted to show you the bigger ones. Excuse me for just a second and let me grab my bigger. These are, I'm gonna say 2 inches. No, they're 1.5 inches. 2 inches. Yeah, inside measurement. Yes, these are 2 inches. And I hand basted these. This was before I started doing this one before I discovered the spray baste. So here I have, let me press these. And obviously the bigger the hexie, the easier they are. Oh, you know what? I did these. These are sewn by hand. So now we'll do the rest with machine, and I'll show you. You can't tell the difference. Okay. We'll take this and match right sides together. And just a single one of these makes a great, that's what we'll do in this today, is a great mug ring. So there, I've sewn that seam. Now we're going to pivot this around and match those edges, and make sure I pull this out of the way. And I think the 2.5 inch one makes a nice, like a placemat. Okay, so there we have that one. And sometimes I press as I go, sometimes no. But since this one had already been started. And our last one. I mean, it doesn't matter which side you start on. It's whatever is most comfortable for you. Keep that seam allowance out of the way. I did some pillows. They're still in the truck. I will bring that stuff in. Just did one flower, and then I appliqued it on to a piece of fabric. I gotta get that seam allowance out of the way. There we go. That's why I don't like to press before I get it all done. Anyway, I just stitched it onto a piece of fabric and ended up making a really beautiful pillow. So, you know, those are just little projects. You don't get overwhelmed, but you learn the technique of doing this. And our last pivot, match our edges, match that there in the middle. Boy, this bigger one is really easy to work with. Okay, now we'll finish pressing it. Good. All those points look great. Or intersections, whatever you call them. Okay, so now I think I want to just make this into a mug rug. So let me grab a piece of fabric for the background. Down for the back side. Oh, perfect. How about some line fabric? That would be okay. So all I'm going to do, this is how I do things on the fly. Okay, I'm going to put it like that. And grab my rotary cutter and just make sure. I'm going to press this. batting underneath there or between it. And then we'll put that down, put the batting on top of that. Make our sandwich. And then I'm going to pin this so I can trim I think I just might do this. I'm not sure. I think I'll use my scissors. Might be better. Just turn around here. A lot of edges. And of course, I should have pinned this with the wrong side facing up, so we have our right sides together. Because I'm going to stitch around and then turn it. I think that would be easier than binding it. And we'll leave. I'm just going to stitch on the line all the way around, and I will leave 3 sides open for turning. Actually, I'll start just a little bit. Just going to stitch on the line down to this point. At this side. make it just do one stitch. I hear birds singing. I'm going to put a pin over here where I started, just to remind me not to go past here. Good. I was just thinking, I wonder if you could do like we did for the bowl. And just do them, just don't do the last part of the bowl to make it, if they were already reversible and put the binding on, instead of making a bowl, you could just leave it flat and have a mug rug done that fast. So you know what I'm going to do between now and Thursday. That'd be awesome for a quick set of, for a gift. And if you don't want your mug rug to be quite this big, you could use the 1.5 blocks. The 6-inch, the little single one I did, wherever I put it, over here. This one, this size, is a great small mug rug, or I like to call them wine coasters. But you could do the same thing like what I did with this one and just sew them together flat, you know, where you sew the edges and out to this point out here, and it would be reversible. So you know what Debbie's gonna do when we're not on camera, and if I get it done, I'll share it with you. And if anybody has an idea and wants to share it or wants to see it done, well, let me know. I wasn't planning to do this today, but why not? And then you do need, with all these corners, you do need to clip this part. And I don't know where my, clip that part all the way around. I hate doing this with the big scissors. Let's take it slow. Don't want to cut through the line of stitching. I did that one. Yep. And then snip off the seam allowance on these points. Won't do the one where we're going to turn. Beautiful stitching. Okay. And if you want, you can trim this down real close to the edge, the batting, if you wanted to. Just to make, when it turns inside out or right side out, you don't have quite as much bulk there. It's kind of a pain, but it will make for a better turn. I guess, you know, those little curved scissors, that's what this is, that's what they're, those little tiny, with the curved blade. You get right in between your fabric and your batting, make it much easier to trim it away. Get as close to your stitching as you possibly can. Hello to all of you. I haven't been, I'm so engrossed in this. Like I said, if there's something you want to see, drop me a note. And my email is deb@easypiecing.com. Let me know what you want to see. If you've got any questions or you want to see a specific technique, whatever. I am also going to be showing you, I bought when we were in Virginia, it got cold and I didn't have any sweatshirts or anything. So the only non-printed, you know, I don't like, just personal preference, I don't wear printed, don't wear t-shirts, and I don't wear printed things. Like I might wear, I do have an Air Force sweatshirt, but the only plain sweatshirt I could find was this awful looking yellow, kind of a, it's an awful looking color, but it kept me warm. It served its purpose, but I decided it needed to be jazzed up a little bit to make up for that awful color. So it's got, you know, it's a hoodie with a pouch. So I have my Hexies all laid out. Actually, got the first row done. I'm going to cover the pouch, and then I'm going to have a few scattered Hexies that come up from the cuff. Just to spruce it up a little bit. Oh, look at that. And then I'm going to get to quilt it. Yay. Push those points out. Well, so I don't know if anybody on here has done our Stars of the Family, Block of the Month, or just did the whole quilt. I am finally going to be getting it on the long arm. I'm hoping either this evening or tomorrow. And I'll share with you. I'm not even sure how I'm going to quilt it yet. I had hoped to have a professional quilt it, but she is too busy. And I decided I have time now. I'm going to do it. Never get any better if I don't get started, right? Okay, let's get this little thing pressed. I think that one needs to be pushed around a little more. Could even use this as a pot holder. And then I will turn these edges in. I just got this big box of these clips. I've always been a pinner. And times I think the clips would be nicer. But I'm having trouble remembering to use them. Okay, and then I'll turn this in. I'm going to clip a little of this batting. Fold that down. This is the part I don't like. There we go. Give it a good pressing. down. Beautiful. Press that one. Awesome. And a clip, and then I'm going to go around, but I got to change my threads. And then I'll go around and I'll stitch real close to the edge all the way around, and then I got to figure out, I got to do something other than, I don't want to do in the ditch, I'll do something and get that done and share it with you on Thursday. Let's see, that's a, I don't have a cup here, but that's a nice, especially if you have a little snack. That's, I noticed that they make the mug rugs bigger now, and that'd be nice, very nice. So that is made from 2-inch Hexies, and it measures, just for the heck of it, the long side, or the widest part, is 10 inches. So that's pretty good size. So yes, I'm sure that our 2.5 or 3-inch one, I guess a 3-inch one is the one that makes a nice placemat, which would be kind of fun to do. Maybe I can be prepared to do one on Thursday, but it'd be done the same way. I don't think I'd bind it. I am going to try, like I say, I'm going to do one of these and just lay it out flat, and then it's basically done. When you get these all sewn together and sewn out to the point, it's all done because it's all finished with your bindings already on it. So that'll be great. So how are we doing time-wise? What do I get to show you now? Let's see, what color thread? No, I don't want to do that. I'm going to get my sweatshirt. If I can get it over there without messing the whole thing up. Yeah, you know what I think of. These are for the cover the pouch, you know, the pocket, whatever. I undid it except for across the bottom, but I undid the seams and across the top, so it's just floating. I can get this over there. This is to me, this is just a really, this looks like I'm a road crew, on the road crew or something, fluorescent, so I show up at night. And so I just pull these fabrics. I thought they went well with it, and I have my top 2 rows here. I undid my pouch, so and I've got my first row sewn together there. Let's see, this is my top row, this is that's the top. Got to keep these in order. I'll just keep going. This way. Show you how I do it. Okay, so this is what I have sewn together so far. Let me set this out of the way. So now I'm just going to take my next piece and do like I did before. Put right sides together and stitch on the line. I have a block of the month design. It's 1-inch 1-inch Hexies, and it looks like a I want to say like a Turkish carpet. It is so beautiful. I've never introduced it because I didn't know if anyone would have an interest because it is a pretty big project. But I thought breaking it down into a block of the month might be the way to go, and it's something that I wouldn't spend a lot of time on camera doing, but definitely um, each week would probably do a few minutes of catching up and answering any questions or anything like that. If you think you might be interested in doing something like that, drop me a note or let me know here. Yeah, the clips, it's still breaking a habit of the pins. Let's see, who's working on the Family of the Stars? Cindy, still working on the Stars of the Family. Um, I was thinking, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and quilt it. If somebody wants me to make any of those stars, I can certainly do that. I'm thinking some of them should be made individually in a larger size. Okay, so, oops. So I've added that one. I haven't caught Laura's show the last couple days, and I haven't asked her if she's working on her new design. I'm so excited. I mean, really excited that she has come up with her own design and colors. And I'm really excited to see how she goes. I think it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I'll show you before we go. I will show you. I have a king size quilt hanging behind me that I call Wave, and they were, I think those are 2-inch Hexies. And I had to make a wave across the center of the quilt. All batiks. But it still needs the binding done. Where are these threads coming from? Ay, ay, ay. So there we are. I have so many Hexie projects going, you guys. This is crazy. I would do Hexies all day, every day if I could. If I was retired, I think I would. I know I'd certainly go through a period of time that it was just be Hexies. The New York Beauty Blocks, yes, you can buy. Right now, we just have the 8-inch block. If you want to see what it looks like made up, you can look at Around the Block in New York City. And we have pictures of that, or the bigger one. There's a couple patterns, but you can buy the pattern in a couple different sizes. The block size is the same. It's the same block. It's 8 inch, finishes at 8 inches, and I think one pattern has 24 blocks, one pattern has 40, and I think on the website there's another one that has 54 blocks. But we are working, we've got all the blocks designed, and several are made. We're going to be having a block of the New York Beauty block of the month coming up. I'm hoping starting the 1st of June. As soon as I get them all put together into a quilt, I will show you here and let you know when they'll be out. Maybe we can do a little special to get introduced, and to introduce it to you as a block of the month. We'll figure something special out. And I'm finishing up. We're doing a pattern. Some of you know we've been doing a couple. Actually, we have 3 patterns we've done for Julia McLeod, and we've done all the samples and all that for another designer who's working with. I think she's got a new line of fabric coming out with Island Batik, and she designed a couple patterns using our product. So that will be coming out, I believe she said July. I'm not positive, but I'll keep you posted. I'll show you some pictures as we go. We're just down to finalizing a few little details. So there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes. And I have one more to go in this row. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to attach. I think I'm going to attach this across the bottom of the pouch, and then cover the pouch, fold it in, and do a little top stitching, and top stitch it to stitch it down to the sweatshirt. And then I'll figure out how the layout's going to be on the sleeves, and I'll sew the Hexies together. Denise, which quilt are you talking about? Which one? On how big? Wanting to know how big it'll be. Oh, the New York Beauty. We have the pattern in a bunch of different sizes. And it should have the size of the quilt on the website. For the one with 24 blocks is just a small throw quilt, and then I think the 40 block one is like for a twin, and the 54 block is a double. And you can always get just the packages of the blocks, and they come 12 in a package. So it's enormous if you want to make it, for a king. And of course, remember, you're probably going to add some borders. And if you need to know how many you need or whatever, if you want to make it bigger, let me know what size you want it to finish, and I'll work with you, let you know what you need. Okay, so there's my second row for my sweatshirt. Oh, I did start pressing them. I'm gonna wait. Because sometimes when you press them, it makes it, you saw me struggle a little bit with the one I had pressed, and the fabric wants to go in where you're sewing, and you don't want to catch your seam allowances when you're sewing. So I guess if you did, it wouldn't. Oh, I have one more. Sorry. Missed that one. Queen size, yeah, look and see the one, the 54 inch, I mean the 54 block one. I think that was a queen size because I had a customer, she's in my guild, wanted to make a wedding quilt for her granddaughter and wanted it queen size. So I think we went ahead and we published it, and I think that's it. I have one, I think, just sitting right around the corner waiting for the binding to put on. That we had kitted. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Grab it. This is the one I have. Is this the block that you're talking about, the New York Beauty? And I do believe this is the 54 inch one. I mean 54 block one. So I could look it up and see what the finished size is, but I'm sure it says on the website. Laura won't let me put them on there anymore unless I do that, unless I give her the size. Okay, yeah, there's no limit. I mean, check the 54 block one. It's probably, I'm sure it's for queen size. Okay, I am ready to do my next row on this one, and I think it goes like this. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's, I know the pouch gets smaller and smaller towards the top, so turn this over. Whoa. This just kind of becomes mindless once you get what you're doing, and you get the feel for it. So you can see it's gonna go fast. Somebody asked one of the something I'm on Facebook. How was the drive? I drove the entire way. I don't think Bob drove at all. And I swore I was going to take my time. First of all, the day we left, it took everything I had to not turn around and go back. I was on the verge of tears all day. I didn't want to leave him. I wanted to come home really bad, but I didn't want to leave him. And it's just, I was so comfortable there, so happy there. Um, I loved when Ben comes home from school. Almost every day he would come and find me and ask me to go outside with him so he could ride his bike. As long as it wasn't snowing, I would do that because I loved it. Loved spending time with him. And of course with Donald and Laura. But we were lucky weather-wise coming home. The weather wasn't too bad. We did hit some pretty cold weather, but we didn't get snowed on, so it wasn't too bad. And actually, it was really cold 2 days, and then as we got further west, we actually hit 100-degree weather, which that's a big shock to the body to go from. I'm trying to remember where we were, and I think we were in Missouri or Kentucky, and the temperature got down to like 20, and 3 days later we were in 100-degree weather. It's crazy. But we had a lot of wind coming across southern Missouri. Actually, it started in Kentucky and then Missouri and Arkansas. It was real windy all the way into Oklahoma. So it wasn't fun, and I didn't drive. We used to do this, and I'm trying to think. We would leave like super early in the morning, and we would drive all day, all night, till the next early afternoon. We'd get a hotel room, spend the night, get up early the next day, and drive the rest of the way. And I'll tell you, can't do that now. Of course, we both were driving back then. A lot younger. Well, not a lot younger. Maybe 10 years younger. We were doing that up until a couple years ago, and just decided it's not worth it to slow down and enjoy it. The only bad thing is we never slow down and enjoy it enough to stop and actually do anything touristy. Seems like we're always in a hurry to either get to where we're going or to get home. Someday I would love to we used to, before we unretired, we would travel like that. But we came a little different route this time. I'm so bored going all the way across the country on I-40. You know, it's kind of funny because now we pull in at a gas station and, oh yeah, we were here last trip. You know, so this time we went through West Virginia and Kentucky, and across the southern part of Missouri. I'll tell you, we really were in some high winds a day. We went, what is it? You go from Kentucky, you cross the Ohio River. We were on this narrow, high 2-lane bridge in high winds in my truck, which is kind of a high profile. And we went down the other side of the bridge. We went about, I don't know what it is. It's not very far at all, a few hundred feet, and started up another bridge. Well, when we went over the first bridge over the Ohio River, we went into the very southern tip of Illinois. and then immediately went up a narrower, higher bridge over the Mississippi River, and we're in Missouri. So we were in 3 states in about 10 minutes. It was pretty cool. What am I doing? My threads keep hanging on. Yes, we went across the middle of the United States. So we have been, I don't even want to tell you how many times Donald went into the Air Force in, I think it was 2002. And the closest he's ever been stationed to home was when they lived in Corpus Christi, Texas. And we made that trip down there a lot without stopping any place overnight. But so we've made a lot of. Donald's been in North Carolina and Virginia. A couple of different times he's been different places in Virginia, and he's our only. So Mom's not going to go too long without seeing him. So yes, we've made a lot of trips. We've flown, but and of course now we like to do a show or two on those trips. So we have to drive. Well, we don't have to. We're thinking we're going to try having our stuff trucked to the shows. So then we can just fly in if we want. So I don't have to be away from home quite so long. Yeah, it's always nice to get home, but I miss my kids so much. And we get along so well. It's just always so fun to be with them. I wish they could come out here more often. I really wish they could come out here more often, because with my vegetable garden and all my fruit and all, Benjamin is a fruit and vegetable eater. And I send him pictures of what I'm growing, and and of course he loves his cherry tomatoes. So Grandma planted extra. I don't know why. He won't be here, but just in case. This is going pretty fast, guys. I'm going to have this ready to go tonight. Maybe I'll wear it on Thursday. It's cold enough here. You know, we had that hot weather, and now it's cold again. It's like, no, summer's not coming yet. Just gave us a teaser. Okay, one more for this row. Well, his brother lives a couple hours from here, my older grandson, and he's been flying back and forth he's 11 now, and he's been flying back and forth since he was old enough to do it on his own. And I keep telling the kids that they need to let him. Of course, Benjamin hasn't flown like Everett, because even when Everett was a baby, he flew a lot. We took him back and forth a couple of times when he was real little, and he's a seasoned flyer, I'll tell you. But maybe, we're trying to figure out how he could come out here and we could have both boys here, and then mom and dad come and get him and take him home for the rest of the summer. But I don't know. I don't know that Benjamin would be comfortable flying by himself to start with. Okay, this looks a little weird here, but okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many do I have in this row? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I need to put one more down there probably. Why do I keep finding threads everywhere? On the sweatshirt, I've got one side left to unsew here, just this little bit here, but I've got it taken off the rest of the way. I think instead of trying to unsew it across the bottom, I'm just gonna put this across there and stitch from the inside probably, or line it up so I'll stitch it right here and then fold it up, and then turn this in under all the way around, all the way up here, top stitch it, and then I'll reattach it up here at the top. Turn the top row under and stitch it up there. So, and then when I do on the sleeves, I'm gonna do where's the top? I'm gonna do a couple, 3 along the cuff line. I've got them over there, and I'm just gonna kind of do a scattering of them. So when I figure out exactly how I want to lay that out, I'll sew all the Hexies together, and then I'll go around and turn the edges under, and then I'll applique, or I might stitch them on the machine, but I may just hand applique. So I'll get it figured out and share that with you guys before the week's over. And let's see. Oh, the other thing, I think I started to say that somewhere, I don't know if it was on Facebook or where a group of us were talking about, somebody asked if anybody had ever put Hexies on a jean jacket. And I have it's a new one that looks like it's been through 100 years of wear. You know how you pay extra to get it to look like it's well used? And my idea was to embellish it with Hexies and some lace and stuff. So it's hanging up in my closet, but I thought I'll bring that down and figure out what I'm going to do and let you guys know, or show it to you if I get it done. But you can see this goes pretty fast. And since we've been using the spray basting, it goes really fast. I used to either hand baste or machine baste all of these, and I still thought it was much faster than traditional English paper piecing. But those white seams on these are just, actually, I don't know what it is, but with the foundation, I don't know if it's because, everything is printed on there for you. I hated doing Y seams when I was before this. Um, I avoided them. And when I first started designing, I think my first Lone Star quilt, I designed it so that the corner pieces were two triangles, so you didn't have to do a set-in seam. Then I tried doing a set-in seam or a Y seam, and oh my gosh, it was so simple. I didn't know, it was just like, how come I was so afraid of it? It just, they come out beautiful. Where to start and where to stop, so you don't get that pucker there and it doesn't stretch. So, well, if you guys have never tried English paper piecing, you should give this a try. It's definitely easier. And I wanted to show you some small projects. I'll probably overwhelm you before the week is over with some bigger projects. But if you just start on a small project, so you don't overwhelm yourself, or you get to working on it and you think, I am never going to get this done. And that's what would happen to me when I did traditional English paper piecing. I would get so far, maybe get this much done, and I'd think, but it would take me days to get that far. And I would just think, I am never going to get this done. And then the other thing about it was, when you pop the templates out, it would just go all crazy. The only word I can think of to describe it is cattywampus. Just it didn't have any structure to it. Your rows wouldn't necessarily stay straight, and so when and first few years we were in business with the leave-in foundations, I had people asking me, do you have English paper piecing? And no, and I couldn't really, I just, I don't know what it was. I had a mental block about it. And then it was like, all of a sudden one day this light went on. And I thought, well, why can't I do it like this? So I tried it, and I've been hooked ever since. Well, if these colors don't get you in a springy mood, I don't know what will. And I am ready. I know I told you I love fall, but I can just take so much of this winter, and we have mild winters here. But I'm ready to wear flip-flops and, well, old Granny here shouldn't be wearing shorts, but I do, and I'm home. And instead, I'm wearing this scarf and the long sleeve sweater, and I'm still cold here. Guys, I've only got 2 more rows, and each row has 1 less than the row before it, so I just might get this sweatshirt done after we're done here. I think we're probably about time to, oh yeah, 2 o'clock. Listen, guys, I am going to take off. I hope you all have a great rest of your day and a great Wednesday. Hope you watch Laura tomorrow. And I will be back Thursday. Hopefully, I'll have a couple things done and be a little better prepared to show you a couple other things and see if we can't get you into doing this, because I think you just might get hooked. A lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you have great rest of your day, and thank you so much for joining me. Hope to see you Thursday. Take care.